Mhm. Very good.
Yeah, very good.
Hmm.
So where were we?
So I was just saying that unless you had anything else that you wanted to discuss or you had questions, anything that's going on, um, then we might go down to a brief review that I've got from our last class.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the super lazy thing. I copied the notes from our class and I said, I'm going to make Felipe translate everything. Ha! It's as lazy as I can get at Google Translate. I don't know if I did a good job, but we're on quiz questions, page number 2.
Just 1 second, I have to
Mm-hmm.
get to my Gmail account.
Okay, no worries.
Cool. And,
So, how are you really? How's today? How are you doing?
well, I'm fine today. I woke up a little bit, late today. I was really, tired from
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I didn't even go to the office yet.
Okay. Oh, you're still at home. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I'm still, processing how I'm going to deal with my day, but it's
Mm-hmm.
going well so far.
Mm-hmm.
How about you? How many class? How about you,
Well,
Jim? How many?
actually, I had one class that canceled this morning because I have a friend. He and his girlfriend went to Interlagos to the
Lollapalooza.
Lollapalooza. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Lollapalooza. Hey, there's the cat. And what's the cat's name?
Joca.
Joka. Yeah, Joka.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, he went to Lollapalooza with his girlfriend. He bought tickets for her, and they were in the rain and they were standing for a long time. And he came back. He has a fever and diarrhea, and he's had that since the concert. And so that's like 12 days, 15 days, something like that. And he's in the hospital right now. He's been there for like 3 days. And they haven't quite figured out what's going on with him, but it's kind of strange. Anyway, that was his mom was supposed to be my student today, so we had to cancel. She and his wife, they take classes together. So I missed that class, and then I just had one class. But good compliment. My student, she works for a German company, and the boss
Mm-hmm.
came. The boss was there from Germany, and he came and interviewed her in English. And because she's progressing, because she's getting better, he says, keep up the good work, and you're going to come to Germany in September or something like that. So because of her classes, she's going to be able to travel. So she's
Mm-hmm.
excited. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
a good progress
yeah,
for
yeah.
for her, and
Yeah.
congrats on the classes.
Yeah. It's a good feeling. I had a student who was studying for the IELTS test. He wants to move to Canada, and
Mm-hmm.
he got the scores that he needs to go to Canada. So,
Mm-hmm.
things are working.
Yeah, definitely. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
great, great.
Yep. Yep. So,
Okay,
okay. So we're looking on page
I'm here
2.
already. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And I'm indices, right? What is that in English? You said index last class, and I said tisk tisk. That's not it.
You are on page.
I think you follow the old document. Let me share this on What's, and you'll go to the right document. I've migrated. Maybe even at the top of this document, there might be the doc one. And let me go there, and I'll share the link. You stay where you are. I'm going to come to you.
Okay. So
Well,
send me an email, please,
no, no.
because this is a really Jurassic computer
Yeah, yeah, no.
set. So
I
I really
understand.
have to uh,
Yeah.
go to a step back.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm going to write it on your cave wall. Okay. Okay, there you go. There's the document. If you go to the very top, let me go to the share thing and I'll click the share button and I can get a link. One
So,
second.
send it to my email, please.
No, if you're on our document, go to the document, the regular document that you're on right now, and
Okay.
then I'm going to share this link, copy, and then I go to the top of that document as soon as my Jurassic computer. There we go. So I'm going to put a link that says new document right here at the very top.
It's processing.
Hmm.
Click go.
And then I'm going to put the hyperlink in. Now I'm putting the hyperlink in. Okay, there you go. It's got a link.
No.
Refresh, because if it's an Apple, they don't necessarily refresh live. And then you'll see it should say there. I see where you are, and then down below you'll see new doc link. And if you click that
Mm-hmm.
link, that'll take you to our new doc.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be easier for you to use because it's not a very big document. It doesn't take a lot of power to process it.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Go to page 2. And
It takes a while for me to scroll down.
okay.
Hold on. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the 1990s.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Do you remember this sound there was for processing? You know the connection.
Oh yeah, the dial-up sound. Yeah. And all the Windows sounds, all the the when you would open Windows, the music it would make, and when you made a
Yeah.
mistake, yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember
Dong.
how difficult it was for you to download music from Napster?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it took like 9 hours for you to have
Uh-huh.
different songs in
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. You had to be a dedicated, cheap person to do it, right?
yeah, yeah. All right. So, indices.
What is that in English? If you're talking about a book, because you said you had to submit your indice to your publisher or to
Yeah,
the
the table
professor.
of contents.
There you go. Go
Content.
ahead and write it. Go ahead
Yeah,
and write it.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this is pretty obvious. I don't know why I
Mm-hmm.
confused, expressions.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and type it in. Go ahead and type your answer in next to the equals. Okay, I'll let you be the driver today.
But this is not. This is not going. This is not going.
Mm-mm.
Did it
Okay.
go?
Nope. Nope. I'll do it. Table. Can you see me writing?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if I'm sure I shared. Let me see the link. If I shared the link with you, that it actually gives you the power to edit. Sometimes there's a link that, yeah, it says can
Oh,
edit, can edit. It says can edit. I don't know why. All right.
yeah.
Anyway, we'll just
There,
pretend that.
there is this, window here that says that my
Browser's old and.
browser is not compatible with
Mm-hmm.
this document, and there is,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some signs regarding this.
Okay. How about corso syllabus?
Yeah. This is the plan of the discipline, right? It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
it will go something like this. You say syllables, right?
Syllabus. So it's
Syllabus,
course
course syllabus,
syllabus, right?
course syllabus.
But I
Yeah.
go double. I never get that. I never spell. I don't know how I ever worked at a university because I cannot spell that word for the life of me. Ever.
But just one remark here. We don't
Hmm.
say syllables in Portuguese. We say
Yeah.
plan of it. Yeah. Okay.
So this is a false. I put this into Google Translate and that's what it did. So.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you say
Syllabus.
plano
Yeah.
G corso
Yeah. Exactly.
like that.
Uh, just skip the first one.
Oh, the CU corso
Yeah.
corso. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. How about the next one?
Okay, see. I have never ministered a course in a master program.
Administer. Yeah. Administer.
Ministered. That was good. I know
Minister.
minister is like church thing, right? In English.
Yeah. Usually ministers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never teach. Can I say that?
Well,
Taught.
okay. There. That's the mistake I wanted you to catch because that's what you said last class. TAUGHT taught.
I know. Taught.
Master's
Course.
course before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. What about the next one?
Eu nunca passei uma oportunidade. I've never had such an opportunity.
There we go. That's right. Yep.
Okay. in June, right? It's in June.
In June, yeah. Not on June, but in June. Yep.
Philosophy. Yeah.
Philosophy. Good. That was it was the pronunciation last class we had a problem with, right?
Yeah.
Philosophy.
Yeah. I
Philosophy.
remember.
Philosophy.
Mhm.
Yeah. How about the next one?
Research methodology. Methodology. How do you?
Methodology. Methodology. Research
Methodology.
methodology. Methodology. It's kind of like
Methodology.
that. Methodology. Methodology.
Methodology. Okay.
Yeah. How about the next one?
Electives. But
Yeah.
this is
Electives.
you really gave me the answer because
Yeah.
we would go for optatives where the false frame here would
What? How do you write that? What's the?
be it's not
Yeah, I don't know why you. Yeah, you can't. But go
yeah
ahead.
it goes O as in Oprah, P as
Mm-hmm.
in put,
Mm-hmm.
and T A no, skip the A.
Delete the A.
Yeah, T A
TA.
T I V O. No,
Oh,
V, not D.
V.
O.
Oh,
Yeah. Tachiva.
Tachivo.
O or A.
Depends on masculine or feminine, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
the gender. Okay, so that's elective course, huh?
I'm sorry.
That's how you say elective course.
Yeah.
You say course
Yeah.
corso
No, well,
optativo.
I think we would say a subject, not course. We would go for
Subs.
elective subject. You know.
Okay. So a
That's why.
subject. If we said subject, it's more like the like philosophy or that's subjects. It's different schools of education. Philosophy, mathematics. Those are subjects, right?
Mhm.
But a course is a specific course, right? So if I say, what subject are you teaching this? I'm teaching psychology. What course are you teaching? I'm teaching marketing and psychology, something like that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So the subject is the area, the course is the title inside.
Okay. Okay.
hmm
So what's the subject? So what the subject that I teach is law.
Yeah, law. And what's the course title?
Okay.
What's the
Okay.
course? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Okay.
hmm
Okay. É. Ah, como compartilhar informação? Uh, to share information, right?
Yeah, to share. And you said versus pass, right? So you
Yeah.
don't usually say I'm going to pass information. I'm going to share information with my students. I'm not going to pass information to my students. Pass would be like usually pass is like from one person to another. Like you give me some information, you say tell Teresa, and then I pass that information to Teresa, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's not pass in this case. It's share. I'm going to share information with you. I have it, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to share it.
Okay.
hmm
Okay.
Okay. What about the next one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this. Yeah, I remember we discussed the way I'm going to pass the idea through, right?
Yeah, but remember we didn't really like the word pass. Again, it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. It's this pass from one person to another
Oh
to
yeah, this is
another.
an example that I gave, right? Yeah.
hmm
The way I'm going to transmit information. This is
Trans,
the most obvious
yeah,
case.
transmit. Pretty formal, but there's
Yeah, pretty
another
formal, right? Yeah,
way.
the way I'm going to express.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to express the information to the students. How I'm going to express this idea,
Okay,
right?
express the idea. Yeah.
Probably the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Still not sure how I'm going to All right. Ah, yeah, to go with the flow, right? To go with the flow.
Yeah, yeah, to go with the flow. Yeah,
Hmm.
to go with the flow. Yeah, and you've heard of, like, for example, he was in a flow state. I guess it's like that.
No.
So that has to. I mean, that's when you are doing something and you disappear. Like, for example, I don't know, you're working on a project, and like when you're writing, and maybe you disappear, and there's just writing happening. It's just like magic. You just kind of go. You're in a flow state. It happens to me when I do some kinds of climbing. If I'm climbing rocks, sometimes I just disappear, and I'm just the goer. I'm just the goer, and I just disappear.
Hmm.
And people can get it in different ways. If you play sports, if you run, if you do different things, you might get into the flow state. Do you access that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I understand the meaning of it, but
Hmm.
uh, there is no translation for that in my language. But I got the
Hmm.
context.
Really? You don't have that? I
No,
mean, how do
no.
people say that when you?
Let me think, because I really got the idea, but I
Mhm.
don't.
One of my favorite expressions of this is, bullfighting, the matador.
Hmm.
So when the bull is charging and he steps to the side, everybody in the audience yells something. What do they yell? Or he might yell it. They yell
Ole,
"Ole!" Right? Ole. Do you know where that comes from?
no.
It comes from the word Allah. They're actually yelling Allah because when the Muslims were in Spain, they dominated the culture, and Allah, it means, it's reference to, you are full of God. You are in the state of God. You've disappeared. So he's transformed from a bullfighter to an expression of God. Allah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. I thought it was, but the phonetics go
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, there's an
ole,
accent, and yeah, yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it's because, I mean, it's just like, in Japan, you know how you say thank you,
Arigato,
and in Brazil,
obrigado. What
same word.
is
Same.
it?
It's the Japanese took the Portuguese word and used it.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
No. I remember once I was watching this video where the person was explaining where the words like thank you or obrigado, where
Hmm.
they came from.
Hmm.
And he was really strong about our word obrigado, because it means that you are connected, that you are linked to the person in such a way that you are really, thankful
Hmm.
for the person. And
Hmm.
he even expressed this very interesting idea of uh, telling, where the word thank you or merci or
Hmm.
gracias, where these
Hmm.
words came from. For
Hmm.
instance, merci and gracias, they are more like I'm
Hmm.
okay. How can I put it? Gracias. It's
Gracious,
very,
gracious. In English, we
yeah.
have the
You're
word
gracious to the
grace.
person, and it's really
Ingratiated,
different from.
ingratiated. Gracias. I am in English. We have ways of saying this. They're a little awkward, but I am ingratiated to
Yeah,
you. I am ingratiated to you.
yeah,
Ingratiated to you. And gracias. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And
He gave other examples, but I don't remember. But
mm-hmm.
the conclusion was that obrigado is a very strong word where you
Mm-hmm.
are really connected to
Mm-hmm.
the person. It's stronger than the
It-
other
Does it
kind of
does it have a sense of like you're in debt? Like I owe you, right? I'm bound to you by an obligation. I have an
no,
obligation to you.
I don't know. I think what he meant was the person was more connected to the other
Mm-hmm.
one to
Mm-hmm.
express thank you. Not that
Mm-hmm.
he's in debt with the person. I think it was another
Mm-hmm.
meaning. At least that's what I got.
Was it? Could it be like, for
It,
example, I have a debt to you that I cannot pay? Like it's a debt that I'm not deserving of, or it's a
no, no, that's not what that's not it. That's
because
not what I'm
in
trying to
English,
say here. It's
yeah.
more like I'm really shit. I don't know how to say it.
Hmm.
But the bond. Yeah, this is the
Bonded. I'm
word.
bonded to you. I'm
Bond, the
deeply
bond
bonded.
of
I'm.
of this people
Mm-hmm.
are
Mm-hmm.
stronger
Mm-hmm.
because the person is really ingratiated
Mm-hmm.
in great. Yeah. Well,
So we have in English, we have, and I think there's got to be a connection because of Latin. We have this, I am obliged to you, or sometimes to say thank you, we say much obliged. If you,
really.
yeah, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Ah,
mm-hmm. If you
mm,
say thank, if you do something right, I say much obliged.
okay. Okay.
So that's the Latin base.
Do you use it?
Much obliged. It's it has its times where you might use it. It could come out of my mouth on occasion. Much obliged. Somebody does me a favor, I would say much obliged.
Okay.
I'm much obliged. Thanks so much. Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's either it's either colloquial kind of country or it's more sophisticated. One or the other. It's not an in between everyday expression. It's unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm obliged to you, and I might say I would be obliged to you if I would be obliged to you if you dot 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 if you could dot 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 if you
Mm-hmm.
could lend me your cell phone, could lend
Mm-hmm.
me $100, for
Mm-hmm.
example. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is similar to the word we have for I'm sorry. Instead of saying desculpe, we
Uh-huh.
often say perdão, right? I don't know if you use it, but sometimes I
Say
use it.
again. Pardon.
Yeah, in
Pardon. Yeah.
Portuguese. Yeah,
Pardon.
in
Yeah.
Portuguese
Pardon.
we say perdão, but it's really strong, right?
Pardon. Well, in English, we say it a lot. Like if I don't hear what you said, instead of saying, what did you say? Or what? I would say pardon.
But this is more
Pardon.
British, right?
Pardon me. No, no. Americans might say it too.
Really?
Pardon me.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me, but I've forgotten your name. But I have, for social occasions, forgotten
Mm-hmm.
your name. Yeah. Pardon me, but I've forgotten your name. Pardon me. May I say something? Yeah. It's a polite word, polite expression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hmm. So you were saying that to go back, you said there's no flow state in Portuguese, right? To say I was in a flow state. Let me. I'm gonna Google it. I know Google's gonna screw it, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's funny just to see what it does.
I'm gonna do this thing here if my work if my computer helps.
Mm-hmm. Jurassic computer.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what amazing Google came up with. It says this state of fluxo.
Yeah, but this means nothing.
Okay, it doesn't mean it's not an expression in Portuguese. Okay. Uh, yeah.
Did you type it? It's
I,
not.
I, I deleted it. I typed it and deleted it because
It is W.
yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't mean
Hmm.
anything because from what you said, it means any state where you are connected to what you're doing, and you
Mm-hmm.
are disconnected to the other,
Mm-hmm. You're in the flow of whatever the moment is. You're in the
exactly,
now.
yeah.
To be, that's another way is to say in the now. To be in the now. One second, I'm going to let my dogs in. One second.
In the now, in the now.
There you go. Hi, Pete. In the present, in the now, in the present. To be in the present.
Hmm.
So I think when you're in the present, you're naturally in the flow state. So
Hmm.
and so my question was, so do you do anything where you get in the flow state?
I used to when I was in my yoga class,
Mm-hmm.
or when I meditated, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
these days not so much.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting
How
for
about you?
when I used to go to the disco and smoke weed.
That too. That too.
Right? That's the flow state.
That too. Yeah. Exactly. Now I'm reflecting on it, and me too.
Uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Where yeah, you kind of disappear and just it's just you just are, yeah. 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 Not self-conscious. That's the biggest difference is the self-consciousness, the little voice that's critical disappears. Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
in the present,
Mm-hmm.
in a flow state.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We go down to tenso. Tenso. What's tenso? Tenso. I don't even know.
Tense? No.
Mm,
No, no.
I think we
Uptight.
said we had another uptight. Yeah, that was it. Uptight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
uptight. Mm-hmm. Yep. And the next one?
I'm not sure it makes sense. But, ah, yeah. Okay. Okay. A control freak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And that sometimes somebody might say OCD. You have OCD.
Ah, yeah. What what does the obsession compulsive disorder? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. OCD. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you see the movie Rain Man with
Which one?
Rain Man? Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the
OCD.
90s, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Good
a really
film.
good one. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what about the next one?
Shit. Uh,
Yeah, this was a hard one. This was you were
Logic,
talking about you're
semantic.
talking about some course, some crazy course that you took, right?
Yeah, but how do you say that in English?
S- s-
Logic, semantic constructivism. No.
I don't know. This one I'm going to skip because I have it written down on the notes. One second while I look. One second. One second. It is okay. It's logical semantic constructivism.
Yeah, almost.
Uh huh. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's to get even close was a miracle because that's a hard
Yeah,
one.
it's a really specific word.
Mm,
Sorry.
okay. And fazer cursos.
To
I think
take
that's right.
courses. To take
Is that to take courses? Yeah. And professors give courses, right?
give.
Students
Oh
take
yeah, yeah.
courses.
That's to give a course.
Yeah.
Course.
Hmm. Teach or give a course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take courses. Teachers give courses. Hmm. right?
Uh, Maronite.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's yeah, it's just leave it the same. And the next one's the same, and then maybe this one you might get.
Brushed metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's your table. Yeah, and
I'm not sure. To put something into judgment, something like that.
yeah, we said. Let's see, I'm scrolling. To remember you were talking about the table, and you wanted to you have it on a short term basis because you're trying to decide about it, and so
I tried to what? I'm sorry, I
You,
didn't.
you said that there was some furniture that you didn't buy, but you're going to see about it, and if you
They
like
were on
it,
trial. They were on
yeah,
trial.
yeah,
Yeah.
para to on trial, yeah. So these expressions are to get something on trial.
Yeah.
I didn't say this on a trial basis, so I have it on a trial basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have it
Wait.
on, or maybe you have an employee and he's working with you on a trial basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Okay.
do a trial. You're here on a trial basis. If I like you, you stay. If not, ciao, querido. Right? Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
And to try something. And I didn't say this one. This is perfect. You could just say, hey, right now I'm just trying it out. I'm trying out the table,
Mm-hmm.
and that implies that it's temporary. If you don't like it, ciao.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But can I say it? I'm trying it out, or
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying out the table. If I like it, I'm going to keep it. Yeah, I'm
mm-hmm.
trying it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. When you're in the shoe store, they say, they always let you try out the shoes. You're in the store, you try them on, you walk around the store. I'm trying them out. I'm seeing if I like them. When you go to the car dealer, they let you try out a car. They don't just sell you a car and say you can't drive it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're dating, hopefully you get to try it out before you marry the person because it's no fun if you.
Exactly.
What if it doesn't work?
So it will be a long term something.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go down a little bit. Last time we were talking about want and willing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take a look at these two sentences just below on the bottom of page 4. He wants to hire me versus he is willing to hire me. Tell me the difference between those two if you can remember.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I can understand it, in a different way, because of our last class.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that if in the first sentence he wants to hire me, the person is decided, uh, and she
Mm-hmm.
really wants to hire you. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
to, change,
Yeah, it's a strong desire.
the
It's a
word.
strong desire, an
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
present
exactly.
desire, right? Mm-hmm.
And if the person is willing to hire you, the person changed her mind, because firstly she was not wanting to hire you, but then she changed
Mm-hmm.
the desire to hire you.
Is there a
So it's
strong?
not
Is there
not a
if we say
not
they're
a
willing to
strong.
hire you? Is there a strong desire, or it's yeah, I'll hire you. You're not my first choice, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's not a strong desire here, right?
Hmm.
Willing to.
Yeah, it's they will do it, but like I'm willing to sell my car, but I don't really want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to
Yeah.
if I get if somebody comes with the right amount of money, I'd say okay, but I'm not. I don't want to sell my car. Somebody who wants to sell their car, maybe they need to buy a new car, maybe they need to pay for health insurance. There's a lot of reasons you want to sell your car, but you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to sell your car if it's not you're not seeking it out, you're not trying, but if somebody comes to you with the right amount, you'd say okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? So do you want to buy more office furniture, or are you willing to buy more office furniture?
Well, I have a couple of things on my list, but I would say that I'm willing.
You're willing to
Yeah,
buy, right? If you find the right
I'm
thing,
willing
you
to do it.
yeah, yeah, right.
Wanting.
It's not like it's not a big desire. It's not like I have to have it, right?
Yeah, it's not a big
Yeah.
desire
Hmm.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you find the right part thing, then then you're willing to buy it, but it's not like you're seeking it out. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to the next page, and there's a little bit more. Here's another description. I found this on the web, and it says you want to do something which you actively desire because it benefits you in some way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You want to go swimming because it refreshes you want to. Mm-hmm. You're willing to do something which you could actively desire to. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It's funny because when I read all this explanation about
Mm-hmm.
willing, it really brings back to mind the word disposto, which
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned you firstly,
Mm-hmm.
and which confused with my translation. But I
Mm-hmm.
think actually I use it wrong in my own
You,
language.
oh,
You
really?
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Just 1 second here. I just got ish. Okay, it's fine. Sorry.
That's okay. So we go to the second part. It says you are willing to do something which you are not you do not actively desire, but which does not repel you either, or
Mm-hmm.
at least is not so unpleasant that you refuse to do it. You typically
Mm-hmm.
indicate your willingness to do something which
Yeah.
somebody else wants to do, or which is a precondition to your achieving something which you do desire. Right?
Mhm. Do you remember the first sentence I used with willing in our
Yeah, yeah.
prior
It's
classes?
yeah. Just let me scroll
What
down and I'll find it.
because it's
Um,
really making me believe that I used this word wrongly in Portuguese.
Let me see. I think I have to go to the first document. Here we do. Yeah, I do. Go, 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 go. I'm in the wrong place now. I'm going to the wrong place. This is Felipe. Yes. Oh, where am I? Okay, I got to go past here, past here. I think it was about your furniture and something like you're willing to. Now I'm totally the wrong place. I'm screwed.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, because my reflection here is that if I use the word disposto
mm-hmm,
in every context that I can, imagine right now,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
it really, fits in the translation of willing. So,
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
really think that I'm using this word wrongly in Portuguese because it's the same of willing. Yeah. Yeah. Because we have the word want very clearly in Portuguese.
Mm-hmm,
It is, right?
mm-hmm,
I want this, I want that, it's pretty clear. But when you say, tô disposto a não sei o quê, and then
mm-hmm.
it's like this. You are okay with the idea of doing something, but it's not the
Disposed. Yeah,
desire that you
we say
have.
disposed to the idea. I'm
Yeah,
predisposed or I'm disposed to the idea. I don't
yeah,
reject it, but it's not what I actively seek.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really funny because
Mm-hmm.
I was using it wrong.
Well, so you owe me extra because I'm teaching you Portuguese.
Yeah, you were teaching me Portuguese, man.
uh,
Okay, okay, yeah.
that's
But I
funny.
got it. It's really, really, really interesting.
Hmm.
Language, it's interesting, right? You
Mm-hmm.
never. Mhm.
Yeah, word. It's an onion that goes on forever, and it's like it's like when you study law, it becomes philosophy. It becomes so many things.
Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So let's see. So that they say, yeah. So you don't actively, but it may be like I'm willing to sell my car if you will do this, right? So it's kind of I don't want to do it, but if you do this, then I'll do it, right? I'm willing to go to that restaurant if you stop complaining, something like that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
clear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go. And remember, I gave you the example. He wants to buy my soul. He is willing to buy my soul. You know, maybe my soul's kind of shitty, so it's not his first choice, right?
Yeah, I can have it.
If you
Yeah.
want it, yeah, go ahead. You know, that's, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Go to page 6, and we're starting. As I said, I've got a video set up that we can watch. But first question is, what is empathy?
Empathy.
Yep.
Well, I would say it's the connection you have with another person,
Hmm.
um, in such a way that you are able to put yourself in this person's shoes.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah. And I sometimes hear that they talk about EQ. You know, they talk about EQ. So if I ask you, what is your EQ? What is your EQ?
What
Of course, you know the
then?
question, what is your IQ? You know that one, right?
Yeah,
But EQ is another form of intelligence,
empathy,
emotional,
coefficient, emotion.
emotion, Tional, quotient, Quotient, quotient.
Hmm.
Yeah, I did it right. Okay. Yeah, so that's your emotional quotient or your intelligence quotient, right? The two forms of
Yeah,
intelligence.
I'm sorry, but I remember this episode of Friends,
Hmm.
uh, where Phoebe is having a dinner with this guy, and he says, "Well, I have a PhD," and she goes like, "Really?" And he says, "Yes, a really big one." And then he asks,
Oh my God.
"What's your EQ? EQ like?" It's a really.
That's one of those that takes you 1 second to figure out the joke, but it's pretty funny when you do.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but it really, rang the bell here. Friends is so current, man. It's from the
Uh,
90s and it's still so current. I'm still
hmm
fun.
Yeah, yeah. Your video disappeared. Maybe you're poking it with your phone. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Hmm.
I was,
That's okay.
I,
No worries.
it keeps popping,
Messages. Yeah.
here, and now I decided to have my schedule of the day again on my Outlook, and it
Mm-hmm.
goes on my screen, all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
really think all the time that I'm, missing something.
Mm-hmm. I know the feeling. I totally know the feeling. And sometimes I am. Sometimes it's right. I am missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so is compassion the same as empathy? Would you say? I really don't know that answer. PhD. There we go. So I asked the question: is
Man,
empathy and compassion the same thing?
I'm going to send you the picture that I have of our class right now. I have two James here. Yeah, sorry. I keep
Yeah,
interrupting
if
you.
I had a twin, I would work half as much is what I would do, or twice as much. I'm not sure which. That
Check it out.
you sent that on what's
Yeah,
okay. It hasn't appeared yet. But
I haven't.
nope, nope.
I mean, well, it's there.
Okay, well, it's your something's slow. It'll show up, I suppose.
Yeah.
But then now your picture disappeared. Oh wait, now it just appeared. I think I just heard my phone go bling bling. Nope, my phone is faster than my computer, so it's going to show up in my phone first and then my computer. Okay, here we go. It's slightly, is the pose the same? It's slightly different. Yeah, yeah. Two of
Yeah.
them. Huh. I had a funny one. Let me see if I could find this picture. It's Gisele. Gisele. She's Louisa's friend. And let me see, where did that picture go? We don't chat so much online that there should be 5 million pictures, but I can't find it. I'll see if I find it later. Anyway, so compassion and empathy are the same thing?
I think empathy is stronger than compassion.
Hmm?
I think
Okay. In what way?
I think compassion is understanding um, that there are people or things worse going on. There are
Hmm.
things worse going on
Um,
others people's life, and
mm-hmm.
you are aware of it, and you feel compassion towards these
Mm-hmm.
people. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is compassion, but I'm not. This is more, something that I understand. I'm not sure whether this
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
true.
either. Even with this question, when I think of the word like comb is with, right, passion. So I
Uh-huh.
imagine like with feelings, like I feel with you.
Hmm.
I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the etymology would be.
Yeah,
And
and what's the sense of empathy you
well,
have?
usually empathy. I have empathy for you. I have compassion for you. I can say both sentences. I have empathy for you. I have compassion for you. Usually, empathy is I feel for you. Compassion is usually
I
with
felt that.
compassion I do something for you, in my mind at least. Like if I feel like you're my employee and you say, you come, you tell me your problem, I say, well, I have empathy for you. I know that's a really tough situation. If I have compassion for you, I say, go home, see your family. Crap, you know.
This is compassion for you.
Yeah, yeah. I had a boss one time, and I told my boss my wife is suicidal, and he said, oh, go teach your class.
Okay.
Yeah, and as in, like, my wife is suicidal and she's in a 19-story tower and she might jump off the tower, and I'd like to be home to keep her from jumping off the tower.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Okay.
That's not compassion. Fuck.
Yeah. All right. And I was, thinking here, and there is this word. I don't know the translation of it to English, but it's like authority. Is there such a word?
Say it again. Alter.
Author
We,
authority.
we have
What I
altruism. Wait,
Yeah. No. That's not it.
no, no.
No. Let me Google it.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Mhm.
No, I can Google on my shit. Sorry, I can Google here. Uh, okay. Otherness.
How do you spell it?
Other, as in other
Other.
person.
Okay.
Ness. Otherness.
If I talk about otherness, it means like otherness. Is that the opposite of compassion? Like you're not the same as everybody else. You're separate.
I don't know. I'm just
Like I'm thinking about like if you have we talk about enmeshment, or we talk about codependence.
no. There is this is a word coming from the studies of Aristotle. So maybe if you Google something,
Okay.
related to him, maybe you can get to the word that I'm uh, trying to express here. But I'm not finding
Mm-hmm.
uh, errors because I think this word is really close to empathy. That's why I'm.
Aesthetics and ethics, otherness and moral. Oh my God, very philosophical.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I asked it. My question itself, the question I asked is very philosophical, so no surprise you're coming back with this. Unlike other fields, read, I think, Plato, Aristotle, but, oh my God. It doesn't highlight the word on the screen, so I don't see where it is. Explain what you mean by it. If you can give me, like, let's
This is
imagine.
this is really close to empathy. That's why
Mhm.
it comes to mind.
Okay, so I'm going to put otherness and empathy together and see what happens.
Yeah, maybe.
So it says empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others is often assumed to be a critical foundation of ethical actions. Empathy depends on perceived likeness, a sense of sameness. I treat you justly because I recognize you as fundamentally like me. It's like my dogs. My dogs, they when I'm eating, they sit at the table and they beg and beg and beg, and I finally give them something. And then I think if dogs ruled the world and I sat at the table and begged, they wouldn't give me anything. Really, I wouldn't get one piece of any cheese from the dog. They would eat everything.
Hmm.
So my empathy is misplaced in the dogs,
Yeah, they don't have it.
because they're not like me, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I didn't find that, but let's put that that's your homework, okay? To find that description. Um, is empathy a skill or is it a trait?
Try authority.
Give me a
Authority.
spelling. Give me the spelling.
Authority. Authority.
Authority.
Authority. Maybe this is, yeah, the correct word.
Authority. The state of being other or different. Otherness. Authority. Authority.
It's not
Um,
downloading here.
Yeah, mine is saying it's the problem of authority occurs also in homogeneous societies. It's become a popular word since 2000. I don't know, gained in popularity from 2000, 1980s. It became popular. Authority. So is authority, because what it's saying is it's a sense of otherness, authority. You're not the same as other people. And
No,
that's what I'm getting, at least.
no,
The
that's not
state of
what I.
being other or different. Otherness is the definition that I got.
I'm googling.
Alterity.
We can move on if you because it's we really have to.
Dig deep, yeah, to find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, let's maybe move on. And I was going to
Yeah,
assign that as your homework to find the philosophical basis or the
you don't
relationship
have
to.
to do that. You don't have to do that. It's fine.
No, no, your home. It's your homework. Your homework. Your homework. My next question is empathy a skill or a trait?
Or what?
A
Skill.
trait. Yeah, a skill means it's something that you can train on and get better at. A trait
Hmm.
is something you're born with. It's like you have it when you're born. Like a trait, like I don't know. He gets angry very quickly. His father gets angry very quickly. His great grandfather got very angry very quickly. That's a trait in him. He didn't learn it from his father. He just came with it. Yeah, it's in the family.
I think both. I think you can trade everything, but it's also a skill.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think some people are born with it, but
Mm-hmm.
others, other people they can, just train themselves to be more
Mm-hmm.
and be more
More empathetic. More empathetic.
empathetic.
Yeah.
Empathetic. Hmm.
Yeah. Is empathy important?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
I think it's important for you to be empathetic if you're living in a society. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
interdependence. Can I say that?
Interdependent, yeah, interdependent. Very good. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yep.
of people is necessary in societies. That's why I think this is really important.
Mm-hmm. What about for bosses, managers?
Also, why not?
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, well, I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about. Did you see? There was a movie with Michael Douglas
Hmm.
called. Oh, what the hell is the name of that movie? Michael Douglas, Wall Street. It was called Wall Street.
No, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm-mm. No, Wall Street was Michael Douglas, and then they made a new version of it, like a
How low would you Wall
sequel.
Street? Can I?
Hmm?
Low would you Wall Street? I have not really
Mm-hmm.
seen it.
You haven't seen it, but he talks about greed, and he says greed wins, and he gives a whole speech on why greed is so important. I should use that in classes. It's a very good speech. Um,
Hmm.
but in that, there's a complete lack of compassion. You have somebody, I don't know, he buys a company, he rips out the assets, anything that's of value, and then he fires everybody, and then he does it again, and he just is accumulating money, just destroying to accumulate money, something that somebody spent a lifetime or a generation or many generations building.
Hmm.
He goes in, buys it, sells the parts to China, kills it, and takes the value out because he sees the value in
But
that,
just
believing
one
that.
question:
Mm.
if he buys the company
Mm-hmm.
or he makes the business,
Mm-hmm.
uh, this implies that there is another person who is also willing to enter into this contract with this
Yeah, the
person,
seller, the
right?
seller. Yeah, 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 the seller. Yeah.
So there is a connection there. Do you
Mm-hmm.
see what I mean? So this is not something that was imposed by this person. It's not
No,
a.
no, 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 no. But on the society, like if you happen to be one of the 3,000 employees at the company that got bought, and then they sold the factory parts to China and sent the jobs to China, and then fired everybody. That has an impact on the community, on the local community.
Yeah, but that's part
Mm-hmm.
of the game.
Where's your compassion? See, that's what I was saying. So if you were compassionate, if you were empathetic, maybe you wouldn't do that. Maybe you'd say there was, like, for example, there's a company called Columbia, which makes Gore-Tex. You know, the jacket material Gore-Tex. It's waterproof. It's breathable. It's a super product. Anyway, he had a factory that burned down,
Hmm.
and the convention at the time, the factory was located in the U.S., and it was a time when everybody's moving their factories to China or someplace like that. And he lost the factory, and what people told him was, shut the factory, move to China, start again, and you'll make more money than you would have ever made, with that factory in the U.S. Instead, what he did was he rebuilt the factory, and while he was rebuilding, he kept everybody who was an employee paid. He paid them for the year and a half, 2 years, whatever it was to rebuild the factory. They kept receiving their salary, and when the factory was finished, they came back to their jobs. Doesn't make sense logically from a pure business sense, but from a compassion sense, from a caring for society sense, it's the right choice. It's the right answer.
But do you think it was just out of compassion the reason he decided to go this way?
Well, it could be marketing because this company
Yeah.
is really known as an ethical company, and maybe that's their what is it called, differentiating factor, is that they're an ethical company. So
Hmm.
it maybe cynically you could say, okay, it's just to capture more market share, to
Hmm.
stand out from the rest. But maybe they are doing the right thing. Maybe he does have that. He has a sense of compassion, and that after you
Hmm.
have so many billions of dollars,
Hmm.
why not do the right thing if that's
Yeah.
the right thing?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I think as long as there is no deficit,
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 loss,
deficit,
loss. Loss, you mean?
or loss, yeah, or
Hmm.
loss, then you can
Hmm.
go for it. But
Well, he definitely
I don't
lost
think people
money.
would go for it if there is loss. You know what I
Well,
mean?
see that's but now we're getting into the logic of the marketplace, and the logic of the marketplace says look at the bottom line and only do what the bottom line tells you is right.
Exactly,
And
exactly. Maybe you can have, losses
mhm, mhm,
on a short
mhm,
period basis,
mhm,
but then
mhm.
on a long term basis, you would go,
Well,
with
yeah.
profit. So maybe
Hmm.
that's why he decided to go this way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
I
mean,
don't
but
know.
I mean, but most. I mean, people were advising him. This is the time to go to China. This is the time to, to totally change what you're doing and save a bunch of money and turn this negative into a positive. And he didn't. This guy didn't do that. And
Mhm.
there's a few cases where you hear things like that, where somebody, I don't know, they. Um, turn their company into a cooperative instead of they when they die they make all the employees who were working in the company shareholders in the company, where they could have given it to their family like any other person who's thinking about or even I mean you get into the I don't know. You get Bill Gates is he tried to create a thing where people would donate a majority of their wealth not to their families to the inheritors but to help society to improve society. And he had this thing called the Billionaires Club where they would pledge to give I don't know 80% 90% of their wealth to social causes rather than to their families. So
Mhm.
so, but I mean, as long as you're saying, why we said is empathy important? You said, of course, and especially for society. But then, if you consider the ethics of the marketplace and the ethics of business, it's brutal. It doesn't have a heart. It's compassionless. And you know, when is it? You let the calculator decide to destroy rather than your heart to help.
Yeah. I'm here, Jim. Just sharing a contact.
Okay, no worries.
I'm so sorry, but I'm here.
Okay.
So sorry,
That's okay. I'm
sorry.
just petting my dog.
I was asked for a number and it was really urgent as far as I got it.
Okay. So the
But
next question is, how empathetic are you on a scale of 1 to 5? Meaning one is, you don't give a rat's ass, and 5 is you're quite compassionate in general.
compassion, empathetic. I think I'm pretty, empathetic.
1 to 5.
I would not, compliment myself to say that I'm
Okay.
five, but I would go for four.
4. Okay. Great. Okay. And if I asked your
How
mom, she
about
would
you?
say 5. Your mom would say 5 or 4.
If what?
Would your mom say 5 or 4?
I think you would go for five.
Okay. Okay. So, well, I mean, it depends. Like compassion, I think I have, like for example, if today's is preparing dinner and she cuts her finger, my legs hurt, my stomach feels funny. I get this pain in me instinctively. Do you have that? If you see somebody like I don't know hurt themselves, if they get cut or something like that, do you feel weakness in your legs? Do you feel
No,
no?
no,
Okay,
no. I don't feel that. No,
yeah. So that's I viscerally feel that.
no. I don't feel it. Physically, and it doesn't,
Hmm.
hurt me in that level. But
Hmm.
I would, immediately go for help. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I think this is how I work.
mm-hmm. Because I mean, I feel it. I feel it, and it's even kind of disabling. It makes me not so much able to help because I like kind of feel like I could throw up, or it's
Hmm.
it's emotional. It's an emotional connection, and it's automatic. Um, I was listening to a podcast by a guy. He was talking about he was watching a movie called Natural Born Killers, which
Mm-hmm.
is a very, very violent film. And he says he was a little bit, oh, I just remembered the podcast. It's very good. He was a little bit stoned he was sitting with some friends, and there was this violent scene. And he said he got up and he walked out of the room and he threw up. He vomited because of the his compassion, his connection to the people, the characters, and the reactions, and it was done
Mm-hmm.
so action, so lifelike, in such a
Mm-hmm.
way. And he said that there was some other, there was another guy there. There was two couples that were sitting together. It was him and his girlfriend, and then another guy and his girlfriend. And he says the other guy said, wow, that's messed up. That guy's, what's wrong with that guy? That he did that. And that's where he realized, because he thought everybody was that way. Everybody had that kind of visceral connection like that. And he found out that, no, there's some people who are very compassionate in that way. Or I don't even know what that word is exactly, empathetic, I think. And others who can be more abstract about it. They can, they're disconnected. They don't go to that next level, which is, the feeling of actually experiencing the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, I often have tender, concerned feelings for people less fortunate than me, strongly agree or disagree. One is disagree, and five would be strongly agree.
Mm-hmm. I think, well, in some way, to have tender or to have concerned feelings for these
Mm-hmm.
people, I think this is the first level for you to be empathetic. But
Mm-hmm.
many people, I think they have this kind of feeling, but
Mm-hmm.
they do nothing. So it doesn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So
Totally.
I would I would completely take out of concern these kind of questions,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go directly to how do you
Act.
actively help these kind of people. I think
Mm-hmm.
this kind of action,
That's
they
yeah.
are more
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of my concern than
Right.
whether you are or not concerned, you have
Yeah.
concerned
Yeah.
feelings. I
Yeah.
don't mind about you having
Uh-huh.
this kind of
Well, do you
concerned feelings,
think?
but I think
Uh-huh.
this is maybe in some level, or for some people, important.
Do you
So
think? Do you think that it has to like something? It has to do with like either the scale of the place we're in. Like if you're in a small village and you see, someone from your small village who, or in your family, it could be who needs help or something like that. Then you might be willing to grant it. But I was in San Diego. I was sitting in a cafe, and I saw a guy who, obviously was homeless, and he had received his payment from the state, his check, and he had money, and he was taking money. He was taking, I don't know whether it was $1 bills or $5 bills or $10 bills or $100 bills, but he was putting money on all of the parking meters on the street. That we have on the street, you have a place to put money so that you pay for your parking, right, in each car. And he was putting money on top of each parking meter. And I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It was not rational, it was not logical. And obviously, he needed the money more than the people who had the car. If that's what he was doing, trying to help them, he had more need for that money than the people who owned cars.
yeah,
Um,
but that's a crazy person,
yeah, 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 yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But as an observer, what do you do? Do you sit and watch it? Do you go and you get go and collect the money and say, "Look, buddy, take this, keep this." How do you react? You know, do you say, do you have a social worker? Who can I contact to help you? What do you do?
This is a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
And last time I was um, in New York. Um, Last time I've been to New York, right? I've been to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Last time, if you it said last time, that's specific. So last time I went to New York.
I went to, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I saw this homeless guy. He was on the crossing. How can I say the wall,
The crosswalk, the
the
crosswalk.
crosswalk, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "I'm starving, please help me." And it was.
Um,
Did you know that? How can I say, when there is this part of the street where cars cross from everywhere,
Yeah,
across points.
the intersection.
He
Yeah.
was in the
Hmm.
intersection of like
Yeah.
7 roads, and I
Hmm.
felt really bad because he was screaming that he was starving, and
Uh-huh.
he was trying to kill himself. and
Uh-huh.
I I felt really bad for that human being because
Hmm.
there was not much that I could do for him.
Hmm.
So I think there is situations, there are situations,
There are. Hmm.
there are situations uh, which you cannot do much,
Hmm. Hmm.
because we have limits,
Hmm.
restrictions, because we are not, government bodies or social bodies,
Hmm.
or we have our material limits, and
Hmm.
sometimes I think we come to situations where you just have to accept what the universe gives you. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if the situation you gave as an example was a
Hmm.
situation where you cannot
Hmm.
do anything,
Hmm.
or it is a situation where you can stop what you're doing and go collect the money and
Hmm.
give back to this
Hmm.
obviously crazy
Hmm.
person.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you have
well.
many factors here. The
Hmm.
person is probably crazy.
Hmm.
um, you are doing your thing, you were having
Hmm.
dinner, you were having lunch, so
Hmm.
this is another factor.
Hmm.
And then you would interfere in this person willing,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
it's a really tough situation for you
Hmm.
to give an opinion about. I don't
Hmm.
know whether I would go and collect everything and give back to the person.
Hmm.
This is
Hmm.
probably theoret- theor- theoret- oh, shit,
Theoretic.
theoretically
Uh-huh.
the best solution.
Hmm.
But
Right.
I don't know if I would do something like this.
Hmm. Hmm.
Would you?
I didn't, and I mean, it's kind of bothered me since then that I didn't. I was like, why was I passively watching this happen,
Mhm.
rather than doing something?
Okay, so
Um,
go to a situation more dramatic.
hmm.
The one that I told you, where this homeless guy was in the middle of the
Hmm.
intersection,
Hmm.
screaming that he was starving.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What would you do? You know, I don't know. I think that there are boundaries.
Hmm.
That's important.
Well, there's. I mean, my mom was. I'll give you an example. My mom. Part of it is your mindset and mind. I'm going to mind my own business, and I'm in my own world, and that's the limit of your compassion, right? And
No, but that's not.
compa-
That's no. That's not what I meant, right?
uh,
This is
what?
that's not what I meant. I meant that sometimes there are material and logical
Mhm.
boundaries.
But then also those are kind of constructs, right? And they're reasons. They're reasons, right? They're the reasons you do act or you don't act. Like, oh, I've got an extra $500 in my pocket. I'm going to give it to you. But if it's extra 500, it doesn't matter. It's if you give the $1 that you do have, that's more important than the 500 that you don't.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
My mom was at the airport, and there was a woman who she was at the ticketing counter, and this woman was trying to change her flight. She was or she was trying to get an earlier flight, something like that.
Okay.
And the airline was saying, "Well, you're going to have to pay a $500 change fee," And the lady's like, "I don't have 500. I can't pay that." And the reason she wanted to travel earlier was because her sister was dying
No.
and she wasn't going to get to to see her before she died. And there's my mom is standing in line. There's a bunch of people standing in line, and they could they could be frustrated because this woman is going slowly. They're gonna they might be late for their flight. They might be rushed. They're not going to be able to buy peanuts or a magazine when they get to the terminal. My mom heard this, and she turned to the people who were in line, and she says, "Are you guys hearing what's happening? Do you hear this? This lady, her sister is dying of cancer, and she can't afford this trip. Can we contribute?" And my mom put in money, and the next person put in money, and they bought the ticket for the lady.
Really?
That's yeah.
That's that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. maybe you gave us a solution. Maybe if you make everybody make a group, at least
Mm-hmm.
understand what's going on, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you become stronger, and then you can help this person who
Mm-hmm.
is in danger or who is
Mm-hmm.
needing of help.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and they say you become like if you're trying to be a champion for yourself, it's very difficult for you to speak up for yourself. But if you speak up for someone else, it makes you more confident and less. And if you have people who are supporting you, it makes you more confident in doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's that shift from it's me and them to us and them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Did you program already to tell me this story, or it was a construction?
No, no, this just came to mind. It came to mind.
Okay, okay, because I think it was really interesting. You know how the thought, the line of uh, thinking was built here. Very interesting.
Hmm. Lawyer.
No, no, man. I'm not.
You can't help it. Gotta keep lawyering everything. Don't worry, it's okay.
No, man. I'm here all connected with our, line of thinking and how we grew in our conversation, and then
You can't help but lawyer, and I can't help but English teach. Okay, so or whatever it is I'm doing. Yeah.
okay, 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 all right, all right, all
But I
right.
appreciate. I
I'll give you
appreciate.
that.
I appreciate the comment. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you
Okay. Okay. Um, and then the next question is how important is empathy to society?
that.
So
Just one
yeah,
second, Jim. I'm sorry.
yeah. Mhm.
Manda subir. Não sei. Uh, where were we?
How important do you think empathy is to society? And I would say like I don't know if you just think about driving when you're driving your car, what role does empathy play in how you drive?
Well, I don't drive. I don't have a
Okay,
car.
is that empathy because you're trying to protect us all from you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying
uh,
to help everybody, myself and
uh-huh,
everybody else.
uh-huh.
But I'm joking. In what terms do you ask?
Well, I'm thinking like if you're driving, why don't you? Let me share a video. Just a second, if I can find it. You can play videos, right?
Yeah, let me
Okay. You think
try
your
it out.
computer might. Let me go to my history, and I'll show you. Okay. Oh. Okay. Wow, it's so funny. I'm going to share this. Um, let's see. How do I share? Share. What do I share? Share. Okay. All I have to do is copy the address. There. Okay. So here's the video. There you go.
It's not going.
No, it might be better for me to share from. No, I think it's going to screw my computer if I do it. Wow, my
Hold
computer's
on. Let me
screwing.
see if I.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't appear as a link. You know.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, wait, I've got another share thing here. Just a second. Let me click a share and copy and paste. Okay, try that one.
currently your browser doesn't recognize
Oh,
the
okay,
format
okay.
of this video.
Okay, okay. Well, let me tell you, it's a video that someone I know shared with me, and it's him driving a motorcycle on Tavares, very near my home, and going 225, 240 kilometers per hour on this piece of road, and going through the cars like crazy, right? And when he showed it to me, he was pretty. I don't know exactly. I think he was wanted to show that he was macho. Wanted to show that he was cool. And he's a father of two kids, and he has a new wife, and he's got lots of financial obligations. And he's 28 years old, and he showed it to me, and I just got furious. I told him, that this is bullshit, what he's showing me, and I was super angry at him. And it's speaks to a lack of compassion for perhaps his children, compassion for the other drivers, and yeah, I was very very upset about it. And so when you think like in society, why don't people drive like that all the time?
Mm-hmm.
If they, I mean, maybe it's out of self protection, maybe they want to protect themselves, but the second side of it is to protect other people. When you drive through a neighborhood, you're driving through, a neighborhood of moms and dads and friends and daughters, and that's why you don't go crazy. It's not necessarily for you,
Mm-hmm.
because if you run over them with your car, you're probably not going to get hurt, but they probably will die.
Okay. Yeah. And regarding this topic, do you think it's um, lawful for demanding people to fasten their seat belts, because
Hmm.
it doesn't mean that you're going to hurt others, but it regards only yourself. So do you think it's okay for acts demand you
Yeah,
to
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, in the U.S., we have helmet laws. You have to wear a helmet when you drive a motorcycle, and some people,
yeah,
view
helmet.
that as an invasion of their personal their rights to
Yeah.
live their lives as they see fit. And if you can do that, if you could say, okay, you have to wear a helmet, then you could say you can't smoke cigarettes too, or you
Mm-hmm.
can't eat hamburgers too. I get the extension that it can go that way. I think with seatbelts in the car, I mean, there's a social cost, which is that's the disconnect. Is people say, "Well, I'm an individual and I do what I want to do." No, because society is going to get the bill if you get in a crash, and we socialize. We have socialized medicines. The cost is going to get passed on to the whole society. So you're protecting the group from this irresponsible behavior and the bill that's going to come. So that's where I see a difference. I mean, cigarettes a bit different because it's secondhand smoke and you can actually harm someone else. Helmet law, it's about the socialized cost that you would pass on to the society if you had an accident.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. I got it. Yeah. Because the other day I was reflecting on this
Hmm.
topic. There is this judge from our Supreme Court that
Hmm.
allowed, not allowed, but he said it was constitutional for people to have uh, weeds, or to drunk until they faint,
Hmm.
because it would only affect the person's life, and the
Hmm.
state cannot interfere in the
Hmm.
person's willing, or
Hmm.
so on the person's will, right?
Will, yeah, will.
Yeah.
Desire, will. Hmm.
Yeah, so
Will.
that's why I was thinking about these mechanisms that
Hmm.
we have for
Hmm.
protecting people's life in traffic.
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe I was thinking extensively. Can I
Uh
say it?
huh.
Yeah,
Extensively, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
but I think you have a point there.
Well, I mean, you get an argument. People will say that society doesn't exist. That it's just a collection of individuals, and there's no such thing as society. But I think that's a false
Mm-hmm.
belief. You know. That's I think that's an argument that a capitalist would make so that they can be unfettered in their power and reach and
Mm-hmm.
actions.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take the power away from the group, and so then you have no control. There's nothing controlling you.
Mm-hmm.
You get the sheep to believe that they're not sheep, that they're alone. They're not a flock. They're alone, and so then there's no group action, no protection. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay,
Hmm.
like it also.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. So
I, I think
let's.
we,
Okay,
we,
we got a little bit of a late start. If you need to stop now, that's fine. We started it at maybe 15 after. Is that right?
we started
Let me look at my. Let
10:30.
me.
No, I think we are good, Jim, because we started 10:30, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. Okay.
Okay.
And
All
and
right, Felipe.
also and
Hmm.
also so many learning today. Bring that when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll say this. We'll continue this conversation our next class. Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right.
So,
Stopped
all right.
here.
Have a great weekend, and
Okay.
also a great Thursday. And go easy on yourself, man.
Okay. Have compassion for yourself. That's weird. Have compassion for yourself.
Have compassion to yourself. You
Yeah.
too.
That's like a double mind screw, right? I can be. I'm going to stand in my own shoes.
Great one.
Okay.
Okay, okay, man.
Ciao, Felipe.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Obrigado.